yesterday is gone. Forget about tomorrow and the ceilings you see right through. Find the moment and make it. Write your headline and raise it to the sky. No one else can create it. Take your banner and raise it to the sky.
Hey guys, welcome back to another fun-filled episode here on Sailing Dauntless. Today we're going to do a two-part video. We're going to split it up a little bit. We're going to do an alternator installation to back up our big cool power series, and then we're also going to go out and do some sailing on our boat, on some friend's boat, and kind of show you the stuff that we've been doing on our spare time to kind of break up the monotony of boat projects. So if you are just interested in the sailing, there's a countdown timer right here, and you can just fast forward in the video and just get straight to the sailing. Otherwise, if you're interested in this big cool 48 volt 100 amp monster alternator that gives us backup to our Tesla battery bank and our solar production, stick around and we'll get into it right now. All right guys, for those of you sticking around, this is actually nerdy but kind of exciting. We got on the water, we had a couple thousand watts of solar on the boat so far, and we got on the water around Christmas or Thanksgiving, and it was pretty, well, days were short, and we just weren't producing enough power. So we thought, we'll add more solar on the boat, and we did. We added our 2335 on the back that we had on the water. We added, or getting on the water, then we added the 1100 on the front, and then we've got another 440 of temporary on the front of the boat, and that really seemed to do the trick. But in the dead of winter, and being even as far north as Florida, it was still pushing us just a little bit shy. So we had to pay pretty close attention to our energy consumption to make sure that we weren't over depleting our batteries every day. So we thought, hey, let's put in some sort of a backup. And as you know, if you watch any of our previous videos about our power series, and if you haven't, click the link below and you can jump back and fill yourself in on that fun stuff. But to catch you up, we took the generator out. It's 700 pounds and it needed to be repaired anyway. And we figured that for the cost of a new 13,000 watt generator at $16,000, we could buy a lot of solar, backup power, batteries, and all that fun stuff. So that's what we did. The 48 volt alternator that we put on will charge our Tesla batteries no problem, because it only makes 48 volts. It doesn't make a higher voltage like a lead acid alternator does. And it does it producing 100 amps. So for all you 12 volt folks out there, I know the math is simple, but it's like having a 400 amp alternator to charge your battery if you were on 12 volt. So that's pretty much it. I had to build a custom bracket. I'm going to get down there and show you where we put it on the engine, and I'm going to show you how much power it produces when we turn it on. It's pretty crazy. All right, let's go. Hey guys, welcome to the backup power plant / engine room of Dauntless here. We have put this alternator on our starboard engine, and we have this on here just in case we're not getting that power production because of cloudy days or weather or something breaks. We have this alternator as a backup. Right now we're only using about 3,400 watts of solar on the boat, and we're producing between 17 and 19 kilowatt of power a day, which of course our batteries will more than happily store. So let me show you what it looks like. So pretty standard looking alternator. It's just a big guy, and we run an auxiliary belt right here by adding this extra pulley that you see down here. This is the main crank pulley and the main drive belt. This is the secondary pulley with our auxiliary drive belt. I had to build and weld up this bracket. I don't know if you guys can see that. The bracket that comes from the factory or as an option to be able to mount this alternator does not fit this mounting position. So I had to make this. I know it's ugly. I'll sand it and paint it after I replicate it. Then for the power running, we're actually using these big 3-gauge battery cables. It's way overkill for the situation. However, we're not going to worry about any resistance. or any loss of efficiency because we're going to get any heat development. Real simple, if you guys ever want to add a secondary alternator to your Yanmar, I don't know about Volvo, but this is the way Yanmar does it, is that you'll have to relocate the fuel filter, which is super simple. You take this fuel filter right here, is normally mounted right here. You buy this bracket for the bargain basement price of about 380 bucks. That moves the fuel filter here and gives us a bracket to be able to tension and mount the top end of the alternator on. You would buy a factory bracket that would go here, and that's pretty much it. You bolt this bracket on, you bolt that pulley on, you move the fuel filter, put it on, buy their belt, and you're in business. For us, we just had to go through a couple extra steps, and that's pretty much it. If you'd like some more information and in-depth detail on a blow-by-blow of the installation of this and materials and tools and how and why and all the background, you can jump over to our Patreon page. If you'd like to become a patron, you'll get access to all of that information and extra content that we put out over there. Thanks, guys. So let's go turn it on and see what kind of power we make. All right, so Kim is gonna go start the starboard engine. There's the beep. And we're gonna roll through some RPM ranges so you guys can see just the kind of power that this awesome alternator produces. All right, so what you guys see here is our color control. And this basically just monitors everything that's going on in the boat. So what you're seeing is our total picture of our electric system here. We're using 122 loads, 122 watts, obviously, on AC. DC is fluctuating between 80 and 150. We're producing just under 90 watts or 100 watts of solar. And now you can see that our state of charge is down to 45.9 volts at 60% state of charge. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna turn on the alternator, and we have a switch that electrically excites it, and then now we're gonna holler up to Kim and have her cycle it up. 1,000. I'm gonna take the engine to 1,000 RPM. You're gonna start seeing negative numbers here. So at 1,000 RPM, we're producing 2 kilowatts of power. Now we're at 1,200, 2,400 watts, 25, and keep in mind, you have to take the negative 150 watts that we were using off of that and add it on top of this. 1,500 watts. All right, so it's producing quite a bit of power. And now we're gonna go up to 1,800 watts as if we were, or 1,800 RPM, I'm sorry, as if we were just motoring around. 1,800, as you can see, we are producing over 100 amps of power and over 5,000 watts, which is pretty impressive. Let's see what 2,000 does. So as you can see, not a huge increase from there, but we're getting a couple extra amps, and that basically tops out the voltage range for this particular alternator, which is plenty, obviously. So that's enough to produce 100 amps at 48 volt is more than sufficient for a backup system.
We are eternally grateful for our sailing lessons with Captain Ron, the time he spent with us on land teaching us theory, and the time on the water on our boat in practical application is a true blessing. Before we sailed Dauntless for the first time, however, we got invited to join the gang on Jeff's Lagoon 560. This was the first time Sid and I experienced actually sailing, raising the main, turning off the engines, and flying a spinnaker. Watching these guys that have thousands of miles collectively under their keels was inspiring and completely reaffirmed that this journey is the journey for us.
That looks so cool. Dinner, baby! Ah! A little chilly here in December, right? Like 80 degrees. What are you gonna do? Go to Panama. There it is.
Heading into the anchorage and dropping the mainsail, we got really excited for our next sailing opportunity, which just so happened to be on Blues Traveler.
What do you think there, Kim? What are we doing?
Going sailing on another boat.
Yeah?
Pretty exciting.
Tied the hardtop down to a pad inside the boat to stick the line, just to make sure we don't get too much of that motion, that movement, because it has lost a lot of its strength without that corner there. But she'll be right.
She's a Fontaine Pajot Helia 44 that we got to spend the early part of the day playing and sailing on.
I just got an awesome vibe, striking the wind up post now. Liberty's on my mind. We've taken off, we've left the ground. You gotta understand that we get one chance, one chance. You will never regret the things that we'll do.
Yeah? What do you think? You go sailing?
so fun.
It is fun. Even the boats have work.
Right?
And when we are old and gray, we'll look back at this summer night. This summer night. Sleeping in the back of a van, roaming in.
What do you think, Laura? You having fun?
We never need a plan. We'll be alright, just you and I.
Warmer than Vermont, isn't it?
Way warmer. I'll never go back. I had a nightmare the other night that I was stuck in Vermont and couldn't get back to Vancouver. And I woke up and was like, oh,
That sounds like a nightmare.
I'm on the boat.
You're okay, you're okay.
I'm okay.
Here you are.
Luigi!
And then we learned the art of something called SKURFING.
Actually, it'll be okay. No, you're good. Put the engine in like 3,000 RPM, please.
This is the Parlay Revival SKURFING educational video tutorial.
First of all, check the phones and wallet. That's the first step.
Yep.
Second step, get some speed up. You're out of gear, right? What? You're out of gear? Okay, I'm gonna jump in, grab the line, and then you just bear off again and give it to her. Yeah, watch that fishing line. Okay. Here we go. I want to do it so bad.
For easy entry into the water.
Colin showed us the adventurer technique, while Jeff effortlessly showed us a slightly different entry. He made it look so easy, Ty decided to give it a try, and once he got more speed from the boat, he did pretty good. We're learning so much every day, but today was really special. We took Colin out on our Lagoon 450, and since he hadn't been on one since leaving Parlay, he was like a kid in a candy store, eating up every moment and sharing tips and tricks about sailing not just any boat, but specifically a Lagoon 450, and Dauntless and her crew did not disappoint.
Get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you
Had he not been with us on this day, we might have missed this North Atlantic right whale and her calf swimming right near us.
and get in that car.
Growing up in Colorado, I always loved the majesty of the setting sun over the Rockies. But since we've been on the water, and especially on this day, I don't know if I've ever experienced anything quite like this. Join us next time as we explore this crystal blue Caribbean water.
Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make